ask you, everyone says that worry, fear, and anxiety are just a normal part of parenting, right? And they say it's part of the package, that whatever you'll choose, you end up feeling guilty and criticized by someone. But what if that wasn't true? What if there was a way to parent guilt-free and worry-free? No, it does not mean perfect parenting. Far from it. And what does that even mean anyway? But it means that rather than being mired in fear and guilt, we're actually enjoying the ride.
Hi, my name is Avital, founder of ReclaimPlay and the Parenting Junkie.
Welcome to my new video series entitled The Missing Piece. In this first video, I'm going to unveil the first thing we can do to decrease our stress as parents. It's one of the things we focus on in the ReclaimPlay community, and it's the presence part. It's deceptively simple, but I believe it is the key to loving parenting and to parenting from love. And even better than that, you'll discover how tuning into this new way of thinking is going to transform your home and family dynamics. Once you harness the power of presence in your children's lives, you'll also start experiencing motherhood or fatherhood as more manageable, even more fun. So if you're a stay-at-home parent to young children and you aren't getting a few minutes to go brush your teeth, or you're a working parent who wants to ensure your children have flow and time to connect with you without the TV on, stay with me, because this is for you.
You're going to discover why intentional parents like you and me can make an alternative choice and can give the gift of our presence and play to our children and ourselves.
The goal of this series is simple: to help you easily shift from surviving to thriving. Plus, further down the line, I'm going to show you how to significantly increase your children's capacity to play independently so you can catch your breath and enjoy these years. The more you can come into presence and the more your children get to play deeply, the greater opportunity you'll have to experience the joys of your children's childhood.
Are you ready to make this happen? Before we dig in, I've got to warn you of something that's critically important. And not paying attention to this will virtually guarantee continual hustle, yelling, irritation and depletion, and of course, parental guilt.
Because of the natural tendency that us parents have to worry about our children and their futures, we become easy targets for the information industry, for toy marketers, tutoring empires, and even schools, to play into our Achilles heel and feed the fears we have. If you're a parent, I know you've felt guilt, shame, fear, and truckloads of anxiety about your child.
Do they measure up? Are they doing well enough? Are you good enough? I'm sure you'll agree that parenting in this day and age, whilst it has many perks, feels pretty scary and isn't as simple as some people, adverts, make it seem.
There are many challenges. Healthy screen time choices, healthy food choices, the expectation that we mothers should look our best, promote our careers, have meaningful and passionate marriages, and be the loving, caring, but firm parents our children need. What if we get it wrong? In our parents' time, what you did with your kids was a local, private matter. Today, our children's first step and our every misstep is documented on social media. If we mess up, will we be humiliated on social media for the rest of our lives? Will our children?
Am I the only one who worries about this? Neighbors, mothers-in-law, and nannies can sometimes crush our mama souls with just the raise of an eyebrow. A toddler's bite, a late potty learner, a slow reader, a kid who hits instead of using his words, or the child who is painfully shy and can't introduce herself even to people she knows. These normal situations can feel anything but normal to us if the people around us don't truly get kids.
When we're at the mercy of those comments and commentators, we feel like we're athletes performing in the spectator sport of parenting, and we want to win. But parenting is not a performance. There are no Best Mother Awards, or we should all be winning one. Because this journey, this relationship you have with your child is absolutely unique. It's incomparable to anyone else's. So allowing their judgments and criticism to tear you down is not only painful for you, but it's also inaccurate.
That's why in this video series, I'm going to demystify the process of presence, play, and peace, which are going to save you a lot of anxiety, sleepless nights, and joyless days. In this first video, I'm going to share a mindset shift that I've come to believe in after years of yoga, mindful practice, and meditation. It's called presence.
You may have heard the terms mindfulness, consciousness, or living in the moment, and they all relate. I'm bundling them under the term present parenting, and I'll share what I mean in just a moment. This process will serve as a tremendous resource for you to eliminate or reduce anxiety and stress, and to provide true connection with your child. Maybe you've never meditated in your life and you think it's weird, or maybe you're a Zen yogi, but you want to apply the mindfulness teachings to parenting.
Either way, you're in the right place, because after video number 1, you'll be feeling centered and connected to your child and yourself. Before I outline presence and what that exactly means, you might be wondering how I got into all of this and figured it out. So let me tell you so you can understand where it's coming from.
I started out my career as a designer, and when I became a mother, I was fascinated by the convergence between design and childhood. I was interested in eco-friendly and holistic approaches to raising kids. Naturally, I was drawn to many of the attachment parenting practices: natural birth, extended breastfeeding, baby wearing, etc. I also incorporated many other of the alternative philosophies I became passionate about: RIE, elimination communication, and cloth diapering, baby-led weaning, and eventually homeschooling, as well as a focus on healthy eating and a veganish diet.
But a disturbing thing began to emerge as I connected with parents who were making some similar choices to mine. It seemed that no matter how well educated, how alternative, and how holistic a parent's approach might be, they were nonetheless mired in a sense of guilt, confusion, and a general fear of not being good enough. A recurring theme that my coaching clients shared with me is a deep sense of anxiety that they're messing this up. And I can relate, because when I was a first-time mother, I was often flooded with feelings of anxiety. Was I feeding my child right? Was he sleeping enough? Was he developing properly? And now, a few years and kids in, I still get flooded with guilt and anxiety sometimes. And I assume I always will, to some extent.
One day, I was standing in the supermarket with my children, and I overheard a kindly elder woman say to her husband, as she was pointing at me, "Oh honey, do you remember when ours were little like that?" It went by so fast. It really hit home for me, because even though I was in the midst of the diapers, the night feedings, and the carpooling, it was, and is, going by so fast. I wanted to find a way to slow down time, to adhere to the eternal and cliched advice given by seasoned parents to young parents all over the world. Enjoy them while they're young.
But life comes at us fast, and it's faster than ever. It's hard, really hard, to bend time that way and slow it down. To cherish these little children while they're young and make time and space to slow down. It sometimes felt like by the end of the day, I'm so touched out, physically exhausted, and buried in the laundry, dishes, and sweeping that I have to do before I collapse into bed, only to be wakened by the hungry baby 2 hours later. Slow down time? How? Plus, I felt like if there was anything I should be spending time doing, it should be going to the gym and getting in shape, or contributing more to paying the family bills, not taking time to zen out. That seemed like a privilege reserved for child-free monks, the young and single, or maybe the retired. Me, right now, with the clutter, the carpool, the dinners to prepare? Can we first figure out how to get these kids to stop killing each other, or how to make the laundry stop attacking me? I'm just in survival mode, taking it one day at a time.
But about 5 years ago, when I was pregnant with my second son, I discovered the wonderful system called hypnobirthing. For those of you who aren't familiar, the idea is to rewire your brain to view birth as a natural, painless, and easy process. Because we're all so used to the idea that labor and birth is dangerous, an emergency, and excruciatingly painful, with hypnobirthing you spend the 9 months of your pregnancy listening to meditations that help you change your view of your upcoming birth. It doesn't work for everyone, and of course birth does involve pain usually, but it did work for me in a big way. When I went into labor with my second son, I called my husband, who's a doctor, home from his night shift. "I'm in labor," I said. "Please stop on the way to buy some snacks." Half an hour later, I still hadn't heard from him, so I called again. "Where are you? Did you get the snacks?" "No," he said. "He'll get them in the morning."
It transpires that he hadn't even registered that I was actually in labor because I was so calm and zen. Labor went smoothly, even without the snacks. But what I really learned was something deeper. I didn't have to align with my preconceived expectations of what an experience should feel like. I didn't have to feel, behave, or think about any experience in life in the same way that culture has conditioned me to. If labor itself could be a calm, soothing experience that I could manage and even enjoy, then I had been vastly underestimating the power of my thoughts and my mind. And my guess is that you have been underestimating yourself too. Does this mean I never lose it? Far from it. Does it mean I'm always zen and calm and kind and sweet? No, I'm still human, and I still have a lifetime ahead of me to practice.
But most of the time, I'm now experiencing deep calm and joy on a daily basis, and more often than not, a deep connection with my children. I feel calmer, more refreshed and excited and passionate about parenting, plus 100 times more confident in my own abilities to overcome whatever challenges face me. But that's not the interesting part. What's truly amazing is that these ideas have transformed the lives and families of thousands of my clients. What does this actually mean? It means that rather than being a rushed, frazzled state of mind, waiting for bedtime every night, only to repeat the daily grind tomorrow, and rather than yelling, snapping, and feeling grumpy with our children for doing what kids do, these parents are reveling in their children's beauty, curiosity, and wonder. These parents are going to look back on this time with a sense of satisfaction and pride that they did enjoy them while they were young. Allow me to introduce you to one such parent now.
My name is Carol Burns. I'm a single foster parent. I have a 22-month-old daughter who I'm in the process of adopting. And so when I started Present Play, she was just a baby, really. She was almost 1. My aha moment with the Present Play membership really came to me as a release. I had been pretty much stressing myself out about, am I doing this right? Am I going to make the right decisions? All these things, you just have these questions in your mind. Am I disciplining right? Am I going to mess up my child? I think that's a pretty common parenting worry. And one of the things that I took away from Present Play and from all of Avitel's work that I have been a part of thus far is just to stop. Stop freaking out about everything. Stop living in the future or worrying about the future and just be present. Just be present. Just be in today. It sounds so simplistic and it sounds so like everybody should be able to figure this out, but I really was so worried about long term that was consuming my mind and I wasn't thinking about right now, right this second, what can I do to have the best loving, peaceful home that I can have. And once I remember actually the day I just said, okay, I'm just gonna stop. I'm just gonna dead stop freaking out and worrying about the future. Really was life-changing for me. I'm an overthinker. I research everything, so there's always 17 different philosophies buzzing around in my brain. That's a lot of noise, that's a lot of thought. To just take a breath and say, okay, don't borrow trouble from the future when it's not here yet. And that was probably the present part of Present Play for me. You have the play aspect and then you have the parenting aspect that doesn't necessarily involve the child. That's really the parent's work, and that's being present and bringing that lifestyle home, which is countercultural, as I mentioned, and hard to do, but so wonderful once you get there.
Do you see how Carol's home life and her baby's life can be transformed by this simple truth? Everything I'm about to share with you is the exact teachings that have inspired me, Carol, and thousands of others to live and parent differently. And it's the approach that led us all to love parenting. And that's what I want for you. You wouldn't be watching this if you weren't an intentional, loving parent. That's why I want to make things easy for you.
The purpose of Present Play is to help you quickly overcome overwhelm, clutter, and guilt so that you can experience real and consistent joy with your kids. To get started, I've created a simple PDF to help you keep notes and to provide even more value from this retreat. You'll see the download link on this page, so hit pause on the video now, and once you've downloaded it and you're ready, let's continue.
So as we go through each part of the Present Play process, I want you to identify obvious areas of opportunity for your home and family. You ready? Let's get started.
So how do we come into presence, and what are the benefits of it? Presence is a form of awareness. What usually happens is we're caught up in the day-to-day struggle and we live in a space that I call the middle. In the middle, we're focused on our planning, our to-do lists, on our worries about the foreseeable future. We're focused on measurable outcomes such as our kids' grades and school performance, and mundane tasks such as getting the car serviced. Now, we need this middle place because it's how we get through the day and how we make sure the bills get paid and supper is on the table every evening. The middle is not inherently bad.
But living in this middle place is inherently stressful. This middle thinking is always comparing, evaluating, and judging. When we live in the middle all of the time, we never experience awe and wonder or even any sense of release, because there's always something to do. The middle is all about doing.
But there are two other planes of thought we can visit in our minds, which are portals, if you like, to greater awareness and presence. Are you ready to visit them now? In the micro, which is all about perception, we zoom in. We zoom in and become hyper alert and aware, extremely sensitive to what we're experiencing. In the micro, we notice and even appreciate the tone of a child's screams, how it hits our inner eardrum, how our gut feels, how the wind on our face feels, and what the temperature in the room is. In the micro, there is no judgment, no right or wrong, only a keen awareness of things as they are. Neutral noticing. When we're zeroing in on the micro, we will notice our breath entering at our nostrils, the hair on our arms, the pause on our children's beautiful faces. We will watch as our thoughts go by in our minds, seeing them with the same acute dissection we observe everything else. When we're in this state, we're like a hawk with a bird's eye vision, and it's sharp, precise, that senses everything. We notice how our body feels with our child and how our child's body language presents itself. In the micro, you realize that all the planning you were doing means very little if there's no one there to truly experience it, if you aren't there to truly experience it. In the micro, the mind allows you to smell those roses, to smile at the baby again and again, and to observe your children playing thoughtfully and quietly without reaching for the camera or a wipe. The beauty of visiting in the micro mind is we become aware of moment by moment reactions as they arise within us. Rather than acting and then thinking, time slows down as we truly, sometimes for the first time in years, sense ourselves.
Visit the micro with me now and open your senses to your breath. Watch your thoughts and feelings. Experience your position in the room and the light hitting your eyes.
Do you see how living in the micro is so different from the middle? Rather than planning, judging, and comparing, rather than doing, the micro is about perceiving, sensing, being in this moment so fully.
Now we're going to visit the macro.
In the macro, we connect to a larger perspective. We see ourselves and our little lives as part of something so much bigger. We sense the interconnectedness of all beings. We sense our spiritual alignments and connections, perhaps with all of life, perhaps with a source energy or a divine being. In the macro, we feel the deeper meaning behind our lives, and we gain a deep sense of equilibrium and balance because we've both zoomed out far enough and distant enough. Through a very wide-angle lens with the distance of both space and time, we can see ourselves from above, or perhaps from deep into our future. The macro self is the old, wise self who looks back at this moment with your children, at all the stress you're experiencing, and laughs gently to herself. She is the bigger story of your life all figured out, and she knows it all comes out good. She knows it figures itself out and twists and turns in ways you could never have known. The macro perspective sees the beauty and the transience in your moment-by-moment actions, and she takes a deep breath and lets things go.
When you step into the micro and the macro more often, you can begin to become what I call a busy slayer. You can become more discerning about all the planning you're doing and reassess your to-do list. Does this align with my values and goals? Is it how I want to spend my time? Is there a way to declutter my schedule? In the present play philosophy, I invite you to step away from the middle of planning for just a bit from time to time and enter into the micro, perception, or the macro, perspective. Now that you're clear about the first element of presence, the big question is, how do you promote play for your children? Because honestly, I believe that real restorative play is a child's version of presence. I'm also going to introduce you to some more families who are applying all of these steps so you can see how they work in practice, and provide you a checklist that you can download and use as an ongoing reference and tool. Before we go today, I want you to leave a comment right below this video and tell me, what is your child's biggest challenge in playing? I'd also love to know a little more about you. Tell me where in the world you're from and how many children you have, and what does that look like for you? How will life be different when you feel calm and your children play deeply? Leave a comment below. I'm going to read everyone, and I'll respond to as many as I can.
Know someone who would benefit from this virtual retreat? Send him or her the link to sign up from the resources section on this page. It is absolutely possible to experience parenting as something that is mostly joyful, and to feel confident and guilt-free knowing that our children are getting their needs met. Next up, we'll talk about children who don't play, and you'll see that by following a simple present play outline, you can increase the chances that your children are continuously inspired to play deeply and for long stretches of time. I can't wait to see you in the next video.
And we didn't know that there are actual steps, or I always call them ingredients, kind of, that you, for the recipe of independent play, and now we know them. Our kids do play independently now. They do.